All right, welcome to another episode of the Fight Game Pod MMA Fight Game Podcast. My voice is still shot from the Creed concert from the other night that we all went to, but I am actually here with a rising prospect in the professional MMA scene, Kevin Carrier, currently 2-0. He recently just got his first win in over 7 years at Combat Zone 84 by a blistering TKO finish. He is one of four absolute area studs that is also on the LFA 194 Magomedov versus Lavia card at the beautiful Seneca Resorts and Casino in Niagara Falls. He's taking on Carlo Ricci. He's currently 32 years old, fights at lightweight, 155 pounds. Kevin's currently training at the notorious Synthesis Martial Arts, also Ultimate Athletics out in Central New York as well. Kevin, I truly appreciate the time. I've heard nothing but good things from you from Vinny Iannuzzo, as well as trying to get this in before Sunday football starts. First question out of the gate, who's your team?
Oh, yeah, 49ers.
Okay.
Die hard. Growing up. So not a bandwagoner by any sense of the term, but
I
love them. A lot of heartache through the years.
Actually, I'm a big fan of that running back that is picking up the slack from McCaffrey.
Mason, yeah, he's holding it down.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. I'm just gonna have to move for a second because I gotta plug in. I wasn't prepared to get this in, so I gotta get my charger. So let's talk about LFA 194. So you've been out of the game obviously for 7 years, and you just went back this past summer, got a bout at LF or not at combat zone, right?
Yep.
With that said, what made you get back in the game after 7 years away?
So realistically, I never really left. I've always been training, always had the intention of fighting. So when I initially fought in Bellator, I actually broke my hands. I was suspended.
Oh shit.
I was also like, shit, I just started competing and stuff for money after years of doing it for free. I was like, I got to keep competing, even if I'm suspended, because I intended to just keep going. And went and did a pro grappling match, and I won that, but I tore my ACL. So I had to get surgery. Was ready to compete beginning of 2020, and COVID shut that card down.
Oh shit.
And then, I was going to fight for NEF. I was actually going to fight the America guy, Gerald Muse.
Oh yeah, I know
Gerald
Muse. I go way back.
Yeah, smash that kid, but
he
no,
just fought and lost to Don Shanis.
Yeah, I think I'd beat his ass, but
we can make that fight happen.
I would love for it to happen, respectfully. But no. So after that, the whole world was at a standstill for a bit. People were getting opportunities, but you needed more experience than 1-0.
Yeah.
One fight. Like UFC was the only one doing fights at the moment. And at that time, me and my girl were like I said, I told you off the call, but I was good buddies with Randy Costa, and he just relocated to Florida at the time.
Yep.
He was one of the lucky few that was still competing. So, he just got knocked out of the night, and he was like, yeah, why don't you come stay with us for a bit? Yada, yada, yada. Try out Florida. You and your girl. We tried it. We were training with him out at Sanford. And it just didn't work after a while. We decided to come back home. And when we did, we found out we were pregnant. So, it was the biggest blessing ever. So training took the backseat a little bit, but I kept at it. Then our son needed surgery, middle of the pandemic still. He was born with spina bifida.
Oh, man.
So we kind of really shut down training as much. Then we had another baby. And, I was still getting back into it. We were back out in Syracuse, and I was coaching over at UA, working with Vinny, Mende, Danny, all of them, Fargo. Uh,
Studs.
but all the while we're both from Rochester, and it was kind of tough with two kids, two newborns basically. One was fresh out the oven, and we are like, oh shoot, we might as well try back home in Rochester, and started training out at Synthesis for a bit, and those guys were all actively competing, and it was a little bit easier to get in the gym frequently. And those guys were all like, dude, you got to be competing. And I'm like, I'm trying, but like, no, seriously. And Piersma was one that really was like, he said, get after it. So tried in March, tried to get on Cage Titans, no prevail. A few other shows didn't work out. And then got the offer from Combat Zone in May. And I was like, yeah, screw it. Jumped on it. Got a TKO. I knew that result was going to come at some point. I just thought it was going to take a lot less time than 6.5 years. And now, back to it. This is a 5-month break, which is a little longer than I anticipated. I anticipated a quicker turnaround after the Combat Zone because I got out unscathed. But, still life, still 2 kids and other things going on, had to deal with. And we got the opportunity for LFA, and I was like, yeah, we got to jump on that one.
Yeah, talking about the LFA card, this area, like you just name dropped Mende Kukuleski, Tim Fargo, Vinny Iannuso, who has nothing but great things. That's how I heard your name. I didn't and this is no disrespect, I didn't know who you were at the time, but Vinny's like, yo, you got to check out my boy Kevin. He's a stud. And
yeah, I was in his corner for his pro debut. Went out there with him, helped him actually get the matchup because I know the matchmaker out at Combat Zone, which is how I got on. And they wanted me to get on the card prior, but I couldn't make it work. I was like, but I got my buddy Vinny. If you can find me somebody for him. And they were like, here you go. And we went out there, and he had one hell of a performance, one hell of a knockout.
Yeah,
personally, I was to see the same thing this weekend or 3 weekends.
Yeah, a viral moment for Vinny. That's the problem. I know Rick over at Combat FC was trying to get Vinny a matchup, but everybody looked at his his amateur record, and then they see this, and he has it has a hard time getting guys to sign on. Probably much like you're obviously your amateur career was with Matt Phillips's Gladius and things like that back.
Yeah, at the time it was Ryan Ciatoli's Gladius.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, Matt was a competitor at that time. Okay. No, yeah, a lot of my fights were for Gladius. I also fought Art of Combat, my first fight. Yep. Fought out in Massachusetts for a couple promotions that are no longer even existing. I've been in the game for a bit now, but
you're only 32 years old.
Yeah, I got into it as a pup. Got into it at 20, but I just started competing. Boom, 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 boom. My amateur career, I had 13 fights within a 4-year span.
Wow.
Now here it is. This is going to be actually 7 years to the day almost of my pro debut, and I'll have had 3 fights. It's actually wild.
Yeah, but I mean, you had mentioned, obviously COVID happened. That was a shitty time.
Yeah.
Family comes first and foremost.
100%.
So,
always.
And you're an MMA family with your wife Carly and you.
Yeah.
Fighter. She's doing some big things that I've seen as well. So, what are your expectations for October 18th at LFA 194 against your opponent Carlo Risi?
So my opponent's very game. He's been around for a while. He may not have the best record, but he's fought nothing but studs and prospects. I think on paper it kind of looks like it's a layup, but I think this guy honestly is a very tough fight. That being said, I think I'm better than him everywhere. I think I could beat him on the feet. I think I could beat him on the mat. I got better cardio. I think just anywhere I decide to take it, I think I got it in the bag as long as I'm on my P's and Q's, because MMA, anything can happen. But as long as I play to the best of my abilities. I don't think that this is going to be a very difficult fight for me.
Yeah, and talking about training, obviously, John Piersma from Synthesis was one of your major training partners, and you had mentioned Mende, Tim Fargo, Vinny being some training partners as well. This area is completely exploding. Not only on LFA 194, we have you and Vinny, but we also have the GOAT, Jacob Bone, who's been in the game longer than most.
Love
And
love Jake and Hicksonbaugh as well.
yeah,
Both of them. Both of my dogs.
Jake Hicksonbaugh is on the card. So the talent level at the professional level in this area, going all the way down to the amateur scene with Mason Lewis, Hayden Ellis, Austin Rich Creek, all those guys, they're doing
Mitch
big.
White, can't forget Mitch White.
Mitch White, who's fighting next weekend at Rage in the Cage 26. He's got a big rematch against Anthony Mixon.
Yeah.
So he's fighting as well.
It's ironic. Last time those two fought actually was the same camp. So he was fighting him the same night I made my return, so he couldn't be there or anything.
Yeah.
But we're both in camp at the same exact time, him fighting that kid again and then me fighting again. And I think I'm sure Mixon has improved a lot, but I think Mitch is gonna kind of show that there's a big gap in the skill set between them, respectfully. But
yeah, no, I'm a big fan of both. It's like when Mason Lewis and Caden Ellis fought this weekend, two guys I really like watching perform. Your hands are over your eyes because you don't want to see either guy get hurt. So obviously, people, if you're a fan of mixed martial arts, you should be coming to the LFA, especially locally, because four studs, again, you, Vinny, Hicksonbaugh, and Jacob Bone. People can go to your Instagram, Kevin Carrier on Instagram. The link is there, or they can DM you because obviously you benefit greatly from ticket sales.
Absolutely.
And not only should you be going for the local guys, but this card is probably the best card LFA has put on in a really long time. Obviously, you have Gigi Canedo, who's fighting his 115 rising straw weight. Austin Vanderford, if you don't know him, Paige Van Zant's husband, as well as a guy that was a complete stud in Bellator, fought Gegard Mousasi. He's another one that's also on the card. But a human interest story is Josiah Hall. If you guys are unfamiliar with Josiah Hall, and I want to talk about medicals after this, is Josiah was actually signed on short notice to fight Jack Della Maddalena a few summers ago at UFC 290. And during surprise fight medicals, they actually found a rare brain condition that required immediate surgery, and he was pulled from that card called myo disease. Talk to me about, I was talking with Vinny yesterday, and he says it's a little different from the AMI scene with like the brain scans and the CT. You said you just had one. And what was that experience like versus, amateur medicals?
So, every commission is different. Some commissions don't require that. New Hampshire, where I just was competing, they didn't require that. Connecticut, where I made my pro debut, because I made my pro debut in Bellator, Foxwoods, they forced you to get it. Luckily everything came back clear. This one came back clear. I got nothing but good news actually from the doctors, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'd say anything down to the blood work, all that is, a fighter's biggest fears, because we could do everything in our powers to make sure that we show up skillfully prepared, but failing a test like that where your body internally is just like, yeah, you can't do it. And then you got to deal with the stuff outside of the cage. All of us have families, all of us have lives outside of this. This is just 9 to 25 minutes of a masquerade of what our lives really are. So that's the scary part. Nobody wants to get that news. Luckily I'm not completely up to date on the story. I remember when it first came out, but it sounds as if he's gotten everything squared away, and it sounds like he's made a recovery, and God bless him. super happy to hear that. I don't want that to happen to anybody. Um, and yeah, hopefully we never get that call.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, that's the human interest story. That's his first fight back from that summer. So that kind of when I was looking at the card,
Yeah.
looking over, prepping for the interview and things like that, that kind of caught my interest. I recognized the name right away. But, again, I can't stress if you're a fan of mixed martial arts, October 18th, LFA 194, it's going to be an absolute amazing card. Now, you mentioned you have kids. How old are your kids?
So my oldest just turned 3 and my youngest turns 2 in November.
Okay. Now,
Both boys, both boys.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
Curly's the only female in the house.
Yeah, and we have a male dog too, so
Oh, so
it's
she's hurt.
overpowered completely.
Yeah, she's hurting a little
But
bit.
she's the foundation. She's the glue that holds the everything together. So, you
Yeah.
know,
And
you need the females in the household. Otherwise, too many men's no good.
yeah, it'll just be look like when you're like hoarding things, just shit laying around and
Exactly.
so are you a full-time mixed martial artist or do you have a full-time job as well?
Full-time mixed martial artist at the moment.
Okay.
Full-time dad, part-time mixed martial artist.
Well, that's the most important job is being a full-time dad. And obviously you were mentioning that, your wife is doing big things in the space as
Yeah,
well. She
huge.
worked with LFA. She worked with another media website as well, and doing some other things with some athletes, which is great to hear. Now the real question is, who's the biggest mixed martial arts fan, you or her?
Oh my gosh. To be honest, I don't watch the fights as much as I probably should. I try to. I try to tune in, like a big one I'll watch. She's over here scouting. She scouts because like you said, she works with the promotions. She's worked with media outlets,
Yeah.
but she's also, also blazing her own trail and working with athletes, helping them find sponsorships and partnerships. And, she's not your typical like go and scout and just take whoever's what, but it's good to just keep an eye on good prospects and see who has good fan bases and whatnot, and she's helping them and really helping find new lanes for athletes as well, because it's one thing that us as athletes we always push to the side. This isn't, especially the level that we're at where it's all local, it's not a very lucrative thing, and a lot of time it costs money to compete in it. Managers, they take their cut, but a lot of them don't really help find these businesses that help.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really what sponsorships are. You help push their product, but they also help you get to the dance.
Yep.
And it's something that's missing. And she's helping a lot of these fighters get those partnerships. And it's huge. It's huge. I think it's something that's been completely ignored for far too long.
Yeah, that's the thing. These fighters that have these sponsorships, these sponsors, they help you get to the dance. But if fans of you, like obviously, I saw Carly just helped you sign on with the U of R and their sports science program, which I'm really tight with Dr. Craig Cypher. Obviously, I know those guys with Liam Anderson.
Yeah.
From
He's had nothing but great things to say about them too. Before we even thought about like working with them, Liam's been singing their praises for a long time.
Yeah, so Liam has said praises. I talked to Dr. Cypher. He says it's very similar to the UFC PI in Las Vegas, which is a major thing. But if there was one thing that I can say on the call, athletes, you got to help get these sponsors return on investment. You got to
100%. And that's the other thing is like, yes, it helps the fighters, but like these businesses, a lot of fighters, they almost act entitled for partnerships and stuff. And they act like, it's almost indebted to us because it's such a non-lucrative business that we decided to get into. They think that businesses should just help them out and whatnot. But you've got to, they scratch your back, you got to scratch theirs. You got to push these products. You've got to really help them out, because without that, why would anybody want to help you?
And that's the thing. There's got to be a marriage. Wear your sponsor's colors.
100%.
You know,
100%. And you know, a lot of these things are fight to fight. If you want to make these partnerships long lasting, uh, you know, push the product, help them, show them what your value is for them, and then you can create long-term business or partnerships.
yeah, that's amazing. Now, have you been going up to since you signed on with the U of R Sports Med? Have you been up there with those guys yet?
So we haven't gotten to get up there yet. We're actually, our first session is going to be Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. We had some hurdles to cross, but Tuesday we're getting after, and I can't wait, because that is another big part that a lot of athletes miss out on, like conditioning and everything. Can get the job done, but we're in the day and age where I think, back in the day, the best base for fighters was jiu-jitsu, wrestling, right, whatever it may be. Then it was wrestling, sorry. Nowadays, I think the best base to have for anything is being an athlete. It can cover the bases or cover ground for technical mishaps tenfold if you're a superior athlete, and then you have the technique on top of it. It's just that's what separates the good from the great, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, training for the unknown, unexpected is huge. I totally get that. Another big thing is, Liam Anderson from Empire Academy. He's a huge fan of Dr. Craig Cypher over at the
Mental stuff,
who
right?
is the mental coach
Yep.
or psychologist, to do the mental game. He is a true believer. I've actually interviewed him before, and he is completely amazing. So that's another piece that those guys are doing over there. And the facility is massive. It's at the old
Huge.
Marketplace Mall. It's
Like the Avengers campus. It's huge. Nuts.
it is. It's taken a big chunk of Marketplace Mall. If you're unfamiliar with Marketplace Mall, that used to be one of the top two malls back in the day.
Oh, I grew up going there all the time, and I was
Uh,
over there the other day. I was in the PT area. I was like, this used to be Sears. They even got the little skylight that used to be in Sears. I was like, no kidding. I think my mom bought a freaking refrigerator there back in the day.
yeah, I remember going through them as well. But Kevin, I truly appreciate the time. LFA
My pleasure.
194 is going to be truly a major card, one of the best cards that LFA has ever done locally here. I can't wait. Plus all the local connections, you, Vinny, Jake Bone, Jake Hicksonbaugh, on top of all the other matchups
It'll be a good night.
yeah, it's going to be a great night. Before I let you go, so obviously we want people who are fans of you to support your sponsors. Anybody that you want to shout out before we wrap this up?
Uh, First and foremost, we went over it, but my wife, my kids, that's the most important. Without them, this isn't even a
Mhm.
realm of possibility. Without them playing ball,
Yep.
because this is an opportunity. This is a privilege. This isn't, something that is a must. But on top of that, my teammates, friends, family, all of that. Synthesis, Ultimate Athletics, Syracuse, my sponsors over at Four Winds Chimney in Rochester, New York, Redacted Hot Sauce, U of R Fitness Science. That's a big one. And shoot, I feel like I'm forgetting one more. HKA, that's huge. Nick Sampson, Yeri, those guys are the best. They've covered all my training equipment and gear for this fight, and best in the business. Vet owned as well.
Oh, I love that. Being vet
That
owned.
man Redacted Hot Sauce. If you like hot sauces, this isn't me being selly here. You should check out Redacted Hot Sauces.
Well, are they going to be at the fights?
They were gonna, but he's actually deployed right now. He was planning on coming, but
No.
he's not going to be able to make it. Nick
So,
Sampson will be from HKA.
okay.
Like I said, he's a former vet. To meet these guys, great guys. They're all flying up. They're from Ohio, HKA. Great guys. Like I said, redacted planned on it, not going to be able to. Anybody that's a fan of hot sauces, though, I'm telling you, check them out.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely check that out. The hot sauce market is a growing thing. If you guys have not gotten your tickets, get on them sooner than later. Actually, I want to take a look with you on the call. I want to see how many tickets are still available because
I know they're selling like hotcakes.
yeah, the last LFA was sold out, and there were people calling me to get tickets. And
Were you at the Allegheny one?
no, I wasn't at the Allegheny one. I was at the Magomedov Smith fight.
Yeah, I was at that one as well.
Yep, Shannon Clark as well. I was at that card. That was the one that was completely sold out. Completely.
Oh, that's another thing at this event. My wife's actually going to be doing media there as well. She did it at the Allegheny one, so she did post fight interviews with a lot of the winning fighters and stuff. She'll be doing it with the winners at this one as well, so that'll be huge.
Well, I expect all four of you Rochester, Syracuse, New York boys all together in an interview. You, Vinny, Bone,
yeah, absolutely,
all together. Because I might need passes because I want to get a picture with all you guys before before 100%. You start. But again, if you need tickets, support Kevin, support his two kids, support his wife, Kevin Carrier on Instagram. Buy tickets because obviously he gets a nice chunk of change from ticket sale proceeds as well. Support his sponsors. Kevin, I truly appreciate it on a Sunday football afternoon.
Yeah, I appreciate you, brother.
I truly appreciate. Hey,
what team do you rep, by the way? You a Bills or?
I am a Bills
fan.
Yeah, I've been going to Bills games long time since like 90.
We're supposed to face you guys this year in Buffalo. Last time we did that, I think it was 2017, and we got crushed. It was bad. It was during the Kaepernick time.
I just hope you guys are healthy. I mean, Juwan Jennings last week had a career game.
And yeah, I know we're neck and neck each game, but we're just not, we're missing something. It's mostly on the defense.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy for Brock Purdy. I'm a big Brock Purdy fan.
Yeah.
Mr.
He's showing out himself.
My man's gonna get paid.
Without the weapons. BA is he missed all of training camp, with the negotiations for the contract, but Debo's out. Kittle's out, McCaffrey's out. He's got the juice and he's got Jennings and he's got like a half a BA right now.
Yeah, and BA just had a temper tantrum because he had red shorts on yesterday.
Yeah, wrong shorts. I saw that.
And he threw a temper tantrum. And I'm like, good thing because he went to go kick his shorts out of the way. And I said on Twitter, just talking shit or X talking shit. Well, good thing he's a receiver, not a kicker, because the Niners would be screwed. But Kevin, just sit tight, okay?
Yep.